Okay, let's get into it. Today, we're doing a deep dive on this really powerful story we found called Conquista, the Dream Entrepreneur.
Right. And our mission, really, for you listening, is pretty specific. We want to pull out the blueprint, like the operating system behind, well, unconventional success.
Yeah, how did this kid do it?
Exactly. We're looking at a 17-year-old, Robbie, who
Nah.
had basically zero cash, right? But somehow he skipped all the usual hurdles and built a real business opportunity, sure, by selling, well, pure ideas and some pretty advanced branding concepts.
That's what's so fascinating. Let's set the scene first. Robbie's background, he's 17, like you said, and his family is, well, lower middle class.
Very much so.
Yeah.
The source material really emphasizes this. Dad's got a small job, mom's running the home, and there's this constant background noise of not enough money.
Material limits everywhere, basically. Tangible lack.
And this is the absolute core of it. The whole story pivots here.
Mm-hmm.
Ravi just didn't let that define his thinking. He kind of understood that what's outside doesn't have to dictate what's inside.
Yeah.
You know?
He had a different framework.
He lived by this belief, and it's incredibly powerful. Poverty can be in the pocket, not in the thinking. I mean, that phrase alone for him was like capital, more valuable than any actual money.
Okay, wow. So that changes everything. We're not looking at a typical startup story, funding rounds, none of that. This is really a deep dive into mindset, pure mental architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So the big question is, how do you take that kind of, well, aggressive thinking, that crorepati or millionaire mindset he had, and turn it into something real, something commercial when your pockets are literally empty?
Well, you start by treating your brain like it's your only real asset.
Yeah.
And you invest in it. Ravi had to build this mindset really methodically and often kind of in secret, which says a lot about the discipline involved.
The sources talk about his routine, and yeah, it sounds intense, staying up super late right every night after everyone else was asleep.
Creating his own little window of time, and then he'd use this old mobile phone.
Yeah.
That was his connection to the world, his university, basically.
And what was he actually doing on it? This is key, I think.
Yeah, absolutely key for us. He wasn't just scrolling or playing games. He was deliberately learning, watching videos, reading articles, specifically about branding, market positioning, business strategy, really targeted self-education.
Let's pause there. Why branding? That seems counterintuitive, maybe. If you need money fast, wouldn't you, I don't know, try to get a job, sell something physical, something quick?
See, that's the standard path, right? The commodity path.
Yeah.
And that takes time, or physical stuff, logistics. Ravi, maybe without even fully knowing the term, hit upon leverage.
Leverage. Okay.
Branding is conceptual. It's intellectual capital. It costs almost nothing up front in terms of materials or inventory, just time and brain power. So by focusing on branding, he was grabbing the highest leverage skill possible for someone broke.
The ability to shape how people see value without actually owning the thing.
Exactly. It's about perception. So in a way, his lack of money forced him to aim higher intellectually.
And this planning ritual. It sounds almost like mental rehearsal for a future he was building. Writing down ideas, sketching logos, dreaming up brand names in a notebook.
Yeah, like running a phantom company in his head, acting as if he was already this big player.
Playing the part.
And that deep internal world, that conviction, was crucial. Because think about the outside world. The sources mention how much resistance he got. People literally called him mad, crazy.
Telling him he couldn't do it, that phrase, "Terabaskinahi," you're not capable of this.
Yeah, classic discouragement. So he needed that strong inner world to just shield himself from all that doubt. He basically had to believe his internal reality was just ahead of the curve, and he needed one shot to prove it.
And that shot came from a school project. Sounds pretty small scale.
Almost comically small scale.
Yeah.
Little school fairs, students setting up stalls. But for Robbie, this was it. This was the test bed for everything he'd been building internally.
Okay, so let's picture this. Most kids, what do?
Exactly what you'd expect. The conventional path again. Selling food, snacks, cold drinks, maybe some handmade crafts, tangible goods, inventory, quick sales, low risk, maybe low reward too.
Easy stuff.
Right. Robbie, though, steeped in this conceptual thinking, he did the exact opposite. He knew he couldn't win on price or volume, so he just changed the game.
He set up a branding kit stall.
A branding kit stall. Now, this is the detail you need to grab onto, because it flips the whole transaction on its head.
He wasn't selling physical items.
Nope. He was selling intellectual property, creative structure, ideas packaged up.
Okay, what was actually in this kit? What were people buying?
It was pure concept architecture, like small custom logo sketches, ideas for memorable taglines that fit a business concept, maybe some basic ideas for packaging design. He was offering structured thinking, professional polish as a service.
Okay, I gotta push back a bit here. Wasn't that incredibly risky? I mean, selling samosas, people get that. Selling a branding kit to high schoolers and their parents? Sounds like maybe just a stunt. Did anyone even get what he was offering?
But that's why it worked. It was so different, so unexpected, it made people stop and actually look. And the reaction wasn't confusion, it was astonishment.
Really?
Yeah, people were blown away. Not just that he was selling logos, but that someone so young had such a, quote, big thought. This is the aha moment for anyone listening. His success came because he refused to play the commodity game. He basically invented a market for intellectual services right there at the school fair.
So he turned this little school thing into a showcase, like a pop-up portfolio for his brain.
Precisely. He skipped the whole supply chain, the inventory hassle, the need for upfront cash. His cost of goods sold, pretty much zero. All potential profit if he could make a sale.
Yeah.
He went from maybe being a snack seller to a consultant overnight.
And that visibility, that big thought factor, it made his stall the one everyone was talking about.
Absolutely. It generated buzz, drew exactly the right kind of attention.
Which leads to the payoff.
It does. And the source gives us the perfect ending to this phase. His first actual client showing up. And crucially, it wasn't another kid asking for a funny logo.
No, who was it?
It was a local merchant, an actual business owner, someone who saw past the school fair context and recognized real commercial value in what Ravi was offering.
Wow. So this merchant sees the stall, understands the thinking behind it.
Walks right past the snacks.
Right.
And offers Ravi a proper business deal. Just like that. Asking him straight up, "Son, will you do the branding for our business?"
That's the validation right there.
That's everything. Every late night, every doubt pushed aside, every idea sketched in that notebook.
Yeah.
It all paid off in that single moment. It proved that investing in your thinking, in your intellectual capital, can actually get you results faster than chasing physical inventory, especially if you're starting with nothing.
And Ravi's reaction, his internal thought after landing that deal, it sums it all up, doesn't it?
It's the core lesson, crystal clear. He makes this vow to himself. He says, essentially, okay, I was born lower middle class, fine. But my thinking, that will always be crowpatty thinking, millionaire thinking. And that thinking is going to take me places most people are too scared to even dream about.
That mindset is the asset.
That's the ultimate takeaway from the source. Real wealth isn't just about what's in your bank account or your pocket. It's in your head, and it's about courage. That haul the source mentions. Ambition plus focused thinking, those are the ultimate startup funds. Ravi showed you don't need a huge investment. You need a huge, well-organized perspective.
So let's tie this back directly to you, the listener. Ravi's story really highlights this critical split, right? Between just selling a thing, the path constrained by resources, and selling a concept, a service, branding, strategy, high-level thinking.
That pivot let him completely jump over his financial limitations.
So the lesson seems pretty direct. If you feel stuck, limited by resources in whatever you're working on.
Maybe the limitation isn't actually the resources. Maybe it's that you're stuck in commodity thinking, competing on price or volume.
Instead of competing on concept.
Exactly.
Shift the game.
Okay, so to wrap this up, we want to leave you with something to really chew on, something you can apply like right now. Thinking about Ravi's success. Take your main project, your biggest challenge at the moment.
Right. Now imagine you had to ditch the standard approach, the tangible product or service path. You had to go purely conceptual, high-level service. What would your version of Ravi's branding kit look like?
What's the core strategic concept you could package and sell that would sidestep your current limitations and make people recognize the value of your thinking, not just your stuff? Is your thinking stuck in the pocket when it could be aiming for that crowpatty level?
Something to think about. What's your conceptual pivot?